So Samuel, please unmic and let us know what your question is.
It was a question on the car loan. So the car loan I have right now is I owe about 6,200 on it, and my interest rate is 3.2. About how long would that take for me to pay off based on what you're saying?
See, this is something that we get this idea from a guy in Tennessee that everybody does the same thing. And that's not true. Your situation is different from your neighbor's situation. So how much money you have to work with is different. Wouldn't you say?
That's right. Everybody's different.
And then what you would need is, it would be impossible to tell you based on that. I would need to know how much money you're making. Now, let's just say that you make $5,000 a month and all of your bills, including your car payment, comes to $5,000 a month. Okay?
Yeah.
So there's no extra money. There's nothing to put in savings. All right. So is there a way that we could attack the debt that way if there's nothing that we could actually store up to put in savings? There's no way we could attack that debt, is there?
Not if you have zero.
Exactly. So the more money you have at the end of the month determines how quickly we can retire that debt. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does.
Okay. So, but I can tell you something, even if you have no money. How would you like to know how you can use your current car payment to pay off faster and to pay less interest with just the minimum payment? How would you like to know that?
That'd be good.
Okay. So here's the thing. With a car payment, you are charged interest daily on that car payment. So every day they add a little bit more interest. By the end of the month, then you know how much money goes to principal when you make your payment and how much money goes to interest when you make your payment at the end of the month. And when you make that payment, you lower the amount that you owe. So the next month, your interest calculation is going to be a little bit less and more of your payment goes to principal, the amount of money that you borrowed. Does that make sense to you, Samuel?
Yes.
Okay, great. So the whole idea is, how can we lower the amount of interest that you pay? This does not work on a mortgage, but it will work on a car payment if your bank or credit union can accept the payments in the manner I'm going to suggest. Now, this is how I knew interest cancellation actually worked. We had a car payment years ago of about $400 a month, my wife and I. And I discovered that if I paid $100 a week instead of $400 a month, I would still give them $400 every month. But by giving them $100 a week made it impossible for them to charge me 1 month's worth of daily interest on the unpaid balance, because I'm bringing the balance down throughout the month. So I'm lowering the amount of interest that they can possibly charge me. So more of my $400 would go to principal, would actually go to the loan, and less would go to interest because I paid them weekly instead of monthly. Samuel, does that make sense to you?
Yes.
So every month, guess what? I would get further and further ahead. And they would tell me, they would send me my next bill in the mail and say, Don, you don't owe us $400. You owe us something less than $400. But I didn't fall for the trick. What they were trying to do is get me to pay less money so that they can recoup the interest I just saved. So by doing that, we actually paid that car off about 2 years early just by making the minimum payment, but we made it weekly, $100 a week instead of $400 a month, saved a bunch of interest and paid the car off sooner. What do you think, Samuel? Is that helpful?
Yeah, it makes a lot of sense. I've actually experienced it a little bit just playing with it. I had even never heard of this method, but I have, thinking about it, I've tried it in the past, and you'll watch your balance go down so much faster.
Yes, because out of your money, less money goes to interest and more money goes to the principal, which, I mean, that's why you got the loan anyway, to pay it off. Why not pay it off early and save money with your current budget? Now, that's not exactly how our program works, but that's something you can use right now, today, to start saving yourself some money. And folks, if you want to save additional money, if you want to save the most amount of money that's possible, then you want to do this. You want to go to ice10k.com, ice10k.com, and fill out a savings and earnings report. And you can know the month, day, and year you could be debt free, usually within a 7 to 9 year window. And you can now also know exactly how much interest you're going to save. And then we can talk to you about how you can take those interest savings and develop your own family bank with those interest savings and start creating generational wealth with the money that formerly went to the bank.
But Don has some valuable information that can contribute to the quality of a person's life. And it only costs you a few dollars. It's his book. Why not get that?
I'm going to go through the P.I.L.L method myself with some of my investment properties. So I'm going to link up with Don, and then I'm going to sit down with him, show him my investment portfolio, and see how I can eliminate interest.